In the quiet valley of Everbrook, nestled beside an ancient, whispering forest, a gentle hush lingered in the air each morning. Here lay a village of simple charm, where life moved at the pace of the sun, and the laughter of children echoed along cobblestone paths. Cottages dotted the rolling landscape, their thatched roofs glistening with dew, smoke curling from stone chimneys as families prepared for the day ahead. The villagers lived in harmony, their days marked by the turning of the seasons, planting in spring, harvest in autumn, and quiet reflection in winter. Yet amidst this gentle existence lived Eldrin, a man whose spirit seemed forever at odds with the peace around him. He had a sturdy home, a roof that never leaked, and kind neighbors who greeted him each day, but his heart grumbled, always finding fault, always yearning for more than what he had. Birds sang sweetly outside his window, but to Eldrin, it was just noise, an irritation rather than a blessing. The baker's bread, warm and fragrant, and the wildflowers blooming in every field, he saw only flaws and weeds, never the beauty or care behind them. His gaze was fixed on what was lacking, on what could be better, making his world a gray and lonely place, even as color flourished all around him. Neighbors invited him to festivals and harvests, offering warmth and laughter, but he declined or brought a chill with his presence, never letting joy touch his heart. He saw their contentment as foolishness, convinced that true happiness could only be found in grand possessions and power, not in the simple pleasures of village life. Eldrin's ungrateful spirit isolated him from the very connections that might have healed his restless soul, leaving him alone even in a crowd. So he lived, a solitary figure in a welcoming village, blind to the beauty and kindness that surrounded him at every turn, never reaching out, never letting anyone in. Little did he know, the ancient forest that bordered Everbrook held secrets and wonders that would soon challenge his ungrateful world and perhaps awaken his heart to the magic he had long ignored. The Whisperwood was no ordinary forest, ancient, magical, and respected by all. Villagers kept to its edges, gathering herbs and wood, rarely venturing deep. Eldrin, restless and dissatisfied, often wandered closer, drawn by a sense of emptiness. One gray afternoon, lost in his grumbling thoughts, he wandered deeper than ever before. The village sounds faded, replaced by the rustling of leaves and distant bird calls. The trees grew older, stranger, their trunks glowing with luminous fungi. Eldrin felt a prickle of unease. This was not the familiar edge of the woods. Yet curiosity, or perhaps his discontent, pushed him onward. He stumbled into a clearing, bathed in soft light, where an ancient oak stood at its center. Its leaves whispered, though there was no wind. Here, Eldrin's life was about to change in ways he could not imagine. As Eldrin stood before the ancient oak, the air stilled and light gathered into a shimmering form, the forest spirit. Its eyes, ancient and knowing, regarded Eldrin with profound understanding. Eldrin, speechless, felt fear and awe. The spirit's presence shattered his cynicism. A voice echoed in his mind. Eldrin of Everbrook, I have seen the emptiness you carry. The forest offers many gifts, but you have been blind to them. Yet perhaps you are destined to learn a lesson, if given the chance. I will grant you 3 wishes, 3 chances to shape your destiny. Choose wisely, for every wish carries a consequence. Consider what you truly seek, for what we want is not always what we need. The offer hung in the air, a momentous test for a man who had never known true contentment. Eldrin's mind raced. 3 wishes. His first thought was for wealth. Without hesitation, he blurted, I wish for more gold than any king has ever possessed. The clearing shimmered, and gold appeared. Piles of coins, chests of jewels. Eldrin gasped, running his hands through the treasure, convinced this was happiness. He brought his wealth home, transforming his cottage with silks and golden goblets. Yet the thrill faded, replaced by anxiety and mistrust. He worried about thieves, trusted no one, and the villagers grew distant, suspicious of his sudden fortune. He ate alone, surrounded by glittering possessions, but found no joy or admiration. The gold filled his house, but his heart remained empty. The laughter and connection he craved never came. Instead, he found himself more isolated than ever. The echo of his wish was not joy, but a profound, hollow silence. Wealth had brought him only loneliness. Eldrin began to wonder if happiness could ever be wished for. The emptiness gnawed at Eldrin. Wealth had brought no peace, only new anxieties. He yearned for something else, power. Returning to the Whisperwood, he called out for his second wish. "I wish to be the most influential man in Everbrook." The spirit granted it, and soon, villagers obeyed his every word. He rose to authority, his pronouncements followed without question. But admiration did not come, only fear. The village square fell silent at his approach. Children scurried away. He sat in his grand house, issuing commands to a village that obeyed but did not love. Power became a heavy cloak, isolating him further. Surrounded by people, he was utterly alone. The weight of authority pressed down, a constant reminder that what he had gained was not what he truly needed. His heart, still searching, found only a colder solitude. Eldrin realized power, like gold, could not fill the void within. 2 wishes spent, Eldrin was no closer to happiness. The treasures he had gained, and the power he wielded, had only deepened the emptiness within his heart. Each day, he wandered his grand halls, searching for meaning among the echoes of his own footsteps. Gold and power had brought only emptiness and isolation. The more he possessed, the more distant he felt from the world and from himself. His laughter faded, replaced by a hollow longing that no riches could fill. Desperate, he returned to the ancient oak for his final wish. The forest seemed quieter than before, as if holding its breath, waiting to see what choice he would make. The forest spirit appeared, its light dimmer, its eyes sorrowful. Even the air around them felt heavy with regret and warning. "Your final wish, Eldrin. Think carefully. What does your soul truly crave?" the spirit asked, its voice echoing with ancient wisdom and gentle caution. But Eldrin, trapped in wanting, pleaded, "I wish for even greater riches and more power than before." His voice trembled with desperation, unable to see beyond his own desires. Silence fell. The spirit's voice was soft, tinged with sadness. The leaves barely rustled, as if the forest itself mourned his choice. "You have sought happiness in things that glitter, and in control of others," the spirit said, its words gentle but firm, echoing through the trees. "True contentment blooms from within, in gratitude and kindness. It cannot be bought or commanded, only nurtured and discovered." As the spirit spoke, Eldrin's gold faded to dust. His power dissolved. His fine clothes turned coarse. All that he had wished for slipped away, leaving him exposed and vulnerable. The spirit did not act in anger, but necessity. Its presence was calm, yet resolute, as it restored balance to the world. "You have misused the gifts. What was given through greed must now be taken until you learn to see with a different heart," the spirit intoned, its words a gentle lesson rather than a harsh punishment. Eldrin was left with nothing but the clothes on his back, alone in the silent forest. The weight of his choices pressed upon him, heavier than any gold he had ever held. Only now, stripped of all illusions, could he begin to understand the true cost of his wishes, and perhaps at last discover what it meant to be truly content. Eldrin stumbled from the Whisperwood, stripped of wealth and power, left with only emptiness. The forest had taken everything he once clung to, leaving him with nothing but the weight of his own regrets and the cold air on his skin. The villagers, sensing the change in him, looked at Eldrin with a mixture of pity and indifference. He was a stranger now, no longer the man of status they might have once heard about, but simply another lost soul passing through. He wandered the village, hungry and alone, witnessing the simple joys he'd once dismissed as beneath him. Children shared an apple, their laughter echoing in the crisp air, and an old woman mended a cloak by lamplight, scenes of quiet dignity and resilience that Eldrin had never truly noticed before. One cold evening, as dusk settled over the fields, he saw a farmer struggling with a broken fence, hands raw from the effort. In the past, Eldrin would have walked by without a second thought, believing such work was beneath him, but now, something had shifted. He offered to help, his hands uncertain but willing. Together they mended the fence, working side by side in the fading light, their breath visible in the chill. When the work was done, the farmer shared bread and water with him at a rough-hewn table. It was simple fare, but to Eldrin it tasted better than any feast he had ever known, filling him with a sense of gratitude he'd never felt before. A warmth spread through him, not from the food itself, but from the shared effort, the kindness exchanged, and the simple act of being welcomed. For the first time, Eldrin acted without thought of gain or recognition, and in return, he received something deeply nourishing, a sense of belonging and purpose. A seed of humility was planted in his heart, quietly taking root as he reflected on the day's events. Eldrin began to see the value in small acts and honest work, realizing that true worth was found not in riches, but in connection and sincerity. The path to gratitude had begun, and with each step, Eldrin felt himself growing lighter, as if hope itself was guiding him forward. As weeks passed, Eldrin lived humbly, taking honest work and earning the villagers' cautious respect. One day, panic spread. Little Lily had wandered into the Whisperwood. Eldrin, knowing the forest's dangers, joined the search without hesitation. Near the ancient oak, he heard a faint sob and found Lily, frightened but safe. Relief washed over him as he comforted her, promising to take her home. He led her from the woods, her small hand clutching his. The forest spirit watched unseen, witnessing Eldrin's selfless act. No longer the greedy man of before, Eldrin offered comfort and safety, expecting nothing in return. This act of kindness was a far greater treasure than any gold. Eldrin felt only the warmth of the child's trust and the quiet satisfaction of a good deed. The villagers saw a new man emerging. The spirit felt hope for Eldrin's once grumbling heart. True change had begun. Returning Lily to her parents, Eldrin was met with gratitude and warmth. His act of kindness washed away the last vestiges of his former self. Eldrin found joy in small things: fresh water, sunlight, a shared smile. He helped others, not out of obligation, but because it felt right. The villagers called him Eldrin the Kind. The forest spirit saw he had learned true wealth is a generous spirit. True power is compassion. One day, a glowing apple rolled to his feet, a subtle gift from the Whisperwood. Eldrin picked it up, peace settling over him. He was grateful for what he had: respect, quiet joy, and the beauty around him. Eldrin's journey proved that gratitude is the richest reward of all.